I'm Reverend Peter Farriday. I'm so pleased to be with you. I am UUCPA's interim minister for the next couple of years. My pronouns are he, him, and whatever your gender identity, sexual orientation, ethnicity, family makeup, etc., you are more than welcome here at UUCPA, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Palo Alto. May you find nourishment and inspiration for your journey. We express our mutual respect around masking and other health measures by keeping what makes good sense to us and respecting that in others. So if you'd like a mask today and you don't have one, please let us know and we'll get you one. If you're new with us, we use these cards to share joys, concerns, and sorrows that might be on our hearts that we want to share with the community. If you have one, you still have time to do one, either at the back or at the side table over there. And you can still do one as we have a couple of pre-service announcements. First, religious education classes are more or less off today, except the youngest ones. There's child care for 0 through 3, and then kids through ages 4, 5, and 6 can go with Mr. Greg after the story here, and they'll have some fun today, and you're also welcome to stay in the service after the story if you choose. Greg, I'm sorry, K through 1 for Greg, but child care can go all the way up to K as well, or any age really. Yeah, thank you, Greg, for clarifying that. And he will direct you to rooms after the story today. Speaking of kids, our Spiritual Adventures in Parenting group meets today after the service. If you are new here and you would like to check that out, you're always welcome to drop in, or there's information on the website. That's in room 4-5, and you can bring your lunch if you want to. Usually our second Sunday lunch is on second Sundays, but today it's been moved to third Sunday. So anything I'm announcing, I imagine lunches will be okay if you come there with them. That includes the Empty Nest Parenting Group, which also meets today in the library, I believe, and the Action Council meets in room 9. Later today, leading church-state separation advocate, author, composer, and co-president of the Freedom from Religion Foundation, Dan Barker, offers thoughtful conversation plus live music in the fireside room and via Zoom. So join that if you can. That is from 2:30 to 4:30 this afternoon. And looking forward another week to another thoughtful gathering, Judy Lookabill has some words about next Sunday's special Adult Learning Journey class. There is a mic. Can we use the handheld?
Exactly. It'll be a little cozy, maybe. Good morning. I have a question for all of you. I actually have 2 questions. How many of you love poetry? Hold up your hands. Hi. How many of you, second question, how many of you love the poetry of Richard Height and Barbara Saxton? Well, the Adult Learning Journey Committee has a treat for you. Next Sunday, January 25th, in the fireside room right after church, at 11:45, Richard Height and Barbara Saxton will be sharing their knowledge and inspiration of all things poetic in a class called A Poetry Appreciation Gathering. And in the spirit of this class, I offer the following. On Sunday, January 25th, 2026, when church has ended and the hour gently clicks, the fireside room will glow with voices, words, and cheer as poets and poetry lovers draw near. Would-be poets come as well, no pressure, no test, some with poems in pockets, some curious guests. Guided by Richard Height and Barbara Saxton, UUCPA's poets and teachers invite us to start. Through playful exercises, shared lines take flight, where language brings laughter, reflection, and light. Bring paper, a laptop, a pencil, or pen to capture the magic that rises just then. Bring a poem you love, your own or one well known, funny, wise, or mysterious in tone, or come just to listen, be inspired, and play, where words heal the heart and joy finds its way. Next Sunday, January 25th, 11:45 in the Fireside Room. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Judy. And thank you, Barbara and Richard, for putting that together. Looking forward to that. Finally, the late UUCPA member Fred Zeiss was a sunny and dedicated green energy champion, both in general and here on campus. Today, the Green Sanctuary Committee will unveil a memorial plaque next to the solar panel control systems in honor of the work Energy Fred did to complete this project before passing in September 2024. Please join the brief ceremony outside the front doors right after the service to gratefully commemorate Fred's vision and devotion. With that, I now invite you to close or lower your eyes and center yourself in your chair. Take a couple of deep breaths. Let your forehead and jaw relax. Shoulders drop. Let any mental chatter subside. Breathe again into your abdomen as it softens. And as mindfulness practice advises us, be totally present to this moment. We gather our different paths entwined to deepen our spiritual lives, nourishing connection, learning from each other, caring for each other, tending to our world. As we follow the sound of the bell into silence, we allow ourselves to arrive here fully. Welcome. Each Sunday, Unitarian Universalist congregations light a chalice, the symbol of our UU faith. Today, we're going to have some help from Vera and Reed Kleckner. Those online are invited to light a chalice or candle with us. Today's words are adapted from reading 434 in our gray hymnal. Sacred Spirit of our radically interconnected existence and our deeply intertwined lives, help us to remember here our highest aspirations. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but related in mystery and miracle to the universe, to the communion of all life, and to each other. And in kindling our flame, we dedicate ourselves anew to bringing our fullest gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. Our opening song is number 100 in the gray hymnal. I've got Peace Like a River. We will sing verses 1 through 3, and then repeat verse 1 to close. So please rise in body or in spirit. The lyrics are on screen and in the online order of service. Number 100. Please sing it out. Do you want to announce the kids coming up, or should I?
Testing, am I on? I am on. So if you are young or young at heart, please join us for a reading of this charming book called A Chair for My Mother. And I have to turn this around. What a nice group. Whoopa, careful. I have to put on my glasses because I have old eyes. One of my kids in my classes said, "Are you old?" I said, "Do I look old?" He said, "Well, yeah." A chair for my mother. My mother works as a waitress in the Blue Tile Diner. After school, sometimes I go to meet her there. Then her boss, Josephine, gives me a job to do. I wash the salts and peppers and fill the ketchups. One time, I peeled all the onions for the onion soup. When I finish, Josephine says, "Good work, honey," and pays me. And every time I put half of my money into the jar. It takes a long time to fill a jar this big. Every day when my mother comes home from work, I take down the jar. My mama empties all her change from tips out of her purse for me to count. Then we push all of the coins into the jar. Sometimes my mama is laughing when she comes home from work. Sometimes she's so tired that she falls asleep while I count the money. Some days she has lots of tips. Some days she has only a little. Then she looks worried. But each evening, every single shiny coin goes into the jar. We sit in the kitchen to count the tips. Usually Grandma sits with us too. While we count, she likes to hum. Often she has money in her old leather wallet for us. Whenever she gets a good bargain on tomatoes or bananas, she puts by the savings and they go into the jar. When we can't get a single other coin into the jar, we are going to take out all the money and go and buy a chair. Yes, a chair. A wonderful, beautiful, fat, soft armchair. We will get one covered in velvet with roses all over it. We are going to get the best chair in the whole world. That is because our old chairs burned up. There was a big fire in our house. All our chairs burned. So did our sofa, and so did everything else. That wasn't such a long time ago. My mother and I were coming home from buying new shoes. I had new sandals. She had brand new pumps. We were walking to our house from the bus. We were looking at everyone's tulips. She was saying she liked the red ones, and I was saying I liked the yellow ones. And then we came to our block. Right outside our house stood two big fire engines. I could see lots of smoke. Tall orange flames came out of the roof. All the neighbors stood by in a bunch across the street. Mama grabbed my hand and we ran. My Uncle Sandy saw us and ran to us. Mama yelled, "Where's Mother? Where's Mother?" I yelled, "Where's my grandmother?" My Aunt Ida waved and shouted, "She's here, she's here, she's okay, don't worry." Grandma was all right. Our cat was safe too, though it took a while to find her. But everything else in our whole house was spoiled. Can anybody see the cat down here peeking out of the garbage can? It's a tiny, tiny picture. But you can see his tail.
It's very cute.
Yes, it is. Okay. You can go back to your places now.
Friends because we both like cats.
Here's their apartment. What was left of our house was turned to charcoal and ashes. We went to stay with my mother's sister, Aunt Ida, and Uncle Sandy. Then we were able to move into the apartment downstairs. We painted the walls yellow. The floors were all shiny, but the rooms were very empty. So if you had I'm going to count to 3, and you guys think about what you would miss most. Don't say anything, just think in your head what you would miss most if you lost everything in a fire. This family lost everything.
My bed.
Well, the neighbors helped. They brought furniture, they brought food, they brought a lot of things to help, but nothing could replace everything that they had lost. Everyone clapped when my grandma made a speech. "You are all the kindest people," she said, "and we thank you very, very much. It's lucky we're young and we can start all over." That was last year. But we still have no sofa and no big chairs. When Mama comes home, her feet hurt. "There's no good place for me to take a load off my feet," she says. When Grandma wants to sit back and hum and cut up potatoes, she has to get as comfortable as she can on a hard kitchen chair. So that is how come Mama brought home the biggest jar she could find at the diner, and all the coins started to go into that jar. Now the jar is too heavy for me to lift down. And Uncle Sandy gave me a quarter. He had to boost me up so I could put it in. So they took the money to the bank. They had papers to wrap all the nickels and dimes and quarters in. And they came away from the bank with $10 bills. So they took all the coins to the bank. Oh, there it is. The bank changed them for $10 bill. And we took the bus downtown to shop for our chair. We shopped through 4 furniture stores. We tried out big chairs and smaller ones, high chairs and low chairs, soft chairs and hard ones. Grandma said she felt like Goldilocks in the 3 Bears trying out all the chairs. Finally, we found the chair that we were all dreaming of. And the money in the jar was enough to pay for it. We called Aunt Ida and Uncle Sandy. They came right down in their pickup truck to drive the chair home for us. They knew we couldn't wait for it to be delivered. I tried out our chair in the back of the truck. Mama wouldn't let me sit there while we drove, but they let me sit in it while they carried it up to the front door.
Well, those are some nice parents. Yeah.
We set the chair right beside the window with the red and white curtains. Grandma and Mama and I all sat in it while Aunt Ida took our picture. Now Grandma sits in it and talks with people going by in the daytime. Mama sits down and watches the news on TV when she comes home from her job. After supper, I sit with her and she can read. She can reach right up and turn out the light if I fall asleep in her lap. And that's the story of a chair for my mama. So thank you very much for listening. I think that we'll sing a song now, and Greg will lead you guys out first into the lobby, and then he'll tell you where to go.
I like the story.
You like that story?
Thank you very much, Beth. I'm so used to kind of leaning on this side for this mic that I'm realizing I can be over here. How's this? Our reading today is brief, and it is a poem about the soul awakening in us. The author is unknown. In the silence, a whisper grows. An awakening, gently it shows. The soul stirs from its long sleep into the vast. The dive is deep. Eyes open to the divine's embrace, a journey of heart, time, and space. In awakening, we find our place in the infinite dance, a sacred grace. We now further honor all that was shared and anything in our hearts left unsaid by lifting these up in prayerful song. And because these include cultural sorrows and concerns, and particularly again on this Martin Luther King weekend, today please rise in body or in spirit and sing number 155 in the gray hymnal, Circle Round for Freedom. The lyrics are also on screen and in the online order of service, number 155.
The
Just want to note that we're running a little long today, so if we get to the bottom of the hour and you have to be somewhere, don't hesitate to move if you need to. It's always okay. But I just say that because I don't want people getting, I usually think about 60 to 70 minutes as a time, and it might be closer to 70 today. So, continuing my ongoing soul focused reflection series, a reminder that it will take some time to fully unfold how ideas about the soul affect our personal and cultural health. And while I'll recap some key points each Sunday, I can only do so much of that. So recaps will likely get shorter and shorter as we proceed. And of course, it's up to you, but you can always access the audio recordings on the website if you miss any, and or listen again after occasional breaks for other services. As with the next 2 weeks, there'll be different topics. But since we're just starting the series today, I will recap a bit more than will be the norm. In the first installment 2 weeks ago, I described how while the modern era has given humankind immense gifts, its claim that physical matter constitutes the whole of reality has also purged any transcendent or transrational, that is beyond the rational, aspect from human life, and thus created what world religion scholar Houston Smith terms an abnormal condition for the human spirit. Because I mentioned it today, I'll add that I talked about an inner unease and confusion many friends and I experienced as young teenagers as a result of this condition, exemplified by a party treehouse we built wherein we tried to alleviate it with the aid of various substances. I then described why this abnormal condition can no longer be remedied by time-worn religious traditions, which have now become, in Joseph Campbell's words, ineffective, misleading, and even pernicious. Then last week, I introduced Plato's myth of Ir, E-R, myth here meaning account rather than legend. It's based on what can be loosely called the near-death experience of a wounded soldier named Ir, who witnessed how souls ready to take earthly form are given both the outer conditions, fate, and inner blueprint, destiny, of their mortal experience. I further explained how, as a soul nears its earthly entry, it's joined by a companion spirit that accompanies and guides it. The Greek name for this being daimon, D-A-I-M-O-N, and in Latin, genius. And while the soul forgets its blueprint, the daimon remembers and safeguards the arrangement they and their new human embodiment all share. This keeps the personified soul in touch with its transcendent source and imbues the person with an individual calling and destiny. All of which adds up to a transrational template very different from particularly Judeo-Christian and Islamic doctrines. And I summed it up with 4 major points that the rest of this reflection series will unfold. Point 1, human beings have a soul and enter the world with a life blueprint and a personal calling/destiny. Point 2, the most beneficial thing a person can do for oneself and others is to identify and live out this calling as wholeheartedly as possible. Point 3, people can do this fully with no reference to or reliance on God or any ultimate deity or reality. And point 4, this orientation holds the power to heal, inspire, and save lives, and thus help create a better society. This was illustrated with the first of many destiny moment stories you'll hear, relating how Quincy Jones went from wannabe gangster to world-renowned musician and music producer when, in the middle of a youthful petty crime, he walked into a room that held a small piano, walked out again and shut the door when, quote, something said to me, "Idiot, go back in that room." I went back in the room and touched the piano, and every drop of blood in my body said, "This is what you're going to do for the rest of your life." And it saved my life. I stressed that while such accounts show the diamond's call most clearly, they only illustrate in sharpest relief what operates in us all, even when less intense or obvious. As archetypal psychologist James Hillman puts it, extraordinary people are not a different category. The workings of this engine in them are simply more transparent. A genius belongs to everyone. Mythologist Michael Meade explains that unlike the current common meaning of genius as exceptional ability, quote, genius and its older form, genie, refer to the spirit that is already there. For Quincy Jones, this is the genie that streamed out of the proverbial bottle when he touched that piano. And the awareness that we too have such a spirit inside provides, in Meade's word, an instinctive orientation and inherent sense of direction and purpose in one's life. And following from Plato's declaration that what I'm calling this soul focus understanding may preserve us if we are persuaded by it, I proposed that affirming a transcendent purpose and destiny in each person is the soundest root remedy for modernism's abnormal and many times lethal condition of soul-starving spiritual barrenness. So now moving forward from that, and again inviting you to adopt a curious beginner's mind posture, Hillman also seconds Campbell's conviction about traditional religions when he says that comprehending and affirming this transcendent part of ourselves and living life accordingly does not mean that we, quote, therefore bury our heads in the folds of a church, though he does not mean UU churches. He continues, the call to an individual destiny is not an issue between faithless science and unscientific faith. Rather, a soul-focused perspective moves nimbly down the middle between those two old contesting dogmas, barking at each other through the ages. I'll say much more about all of this. But we can approach a pause in these particulars by contrasting an unknown source's remark that, quote, religion is a firm belief in other people's spiritual experience. And we can contrast that with the great 12th century soul poet Rumi's wise counsel, do not be satisfied with the stories that come before you. Unfold your own myth. Yes, yes, and again, yes. For as mythologist Michael Meade affirms, what makes us each unique and therefore genuinely human is more vital than any dogma or doctrine and more creative than any system of belief. So the transcendent more at our core also solidly moors us in meaning, in the deep orienting coherence and creative vitality of our own genius's calling and gifts, which this series will thoroughly describe how to discern and tap into. Both personally and collectively, this is critical. For when such coherence is absent, the abnormal manifestations are diverse and profound. Recalling the deaths of despair statistics I shared 2 weeks ago, poet, potter, and educator M.C. Richards returns us to one cluster of symptoms this absence produces when she writes, there is palpable disunion. The inner soul withdraws, goes underground, splits off from the part that keeps walking around. Psychic disturbance is acute. Suicide may be attempted. And as you recall, one of those statistics I shared was that more than 1 in 5 high school students considered killing themselves in the year before they were surveyed in 2021 or 2. While none of my particular teenage peers attempted suicide, though other people I've known are since dead from drugs and or alcohol, I'm sure this palpable disunion is why we were so lost and so crazed, that is, psychically disturbed. Now much older and a little wiser, I realize our treehouse was an instinctual archetypal attempt to create a ceremonial rite of passage chamber just at the time of life for ritual soul initiations now lost to no-nonsense modern rationalism, but that nonetheless persist in distorted forms like gang initiations and frat hazings. As with all such peer-to-peer efforts, ours was doomed to failure, lacking as it did any spiritual context and content and sage elders to illuminate this for us, because no one, certainly not our Christian ministers, focused as they were on other people's spiritual experiences, spoke to us of calling or soul or purpose or anything of the sort, much less taught us how to spy our diamonds and intimations of destiny as a guide toward fulfilling it. We were seeking what we could not name, but had our elders been able to do so, I have no doubt it would have sounded a deep and calming chord of knowing in us, and woken us from the soul ambulatory state Richards describes, walking around but asleep to our souls. Instead, we opted out of life a bit less radically than suicide, merely devouring various inebriants until we were uncomfortably numb and sometimes unconscious, in the vain attempt to bridge this inner split and touch the transcendent more at our core ourselves. And about my earlier wondering of whether other kids also sensed that something was missing and amiss, again, we weren't alone. For as one of Professor Jacob Needleman's high school philosophy course students told him about exploring those central questions of the heart I mentioned, if I had known about this sort of thing, they said, I never would have tried drugs. Obviously, not every experimental or occasional substance use is problematic. And it's in authentic ritual settings, the judicious use of psychedelics has a long history of amplifying soul vision quests. But how many people die drug-related deaths, many driven by despair, every day? How many of their loved ones are racked with anxiety and then too often grief? Add in the violence and terror all along illicit supply chains and the resources spent trying to stem the flood. Weigh up the other costs of intoxicant use and abuse and everything from mother's little helpers to the meth and opioid epidemics, including alcohol's role in many violent crimes and deadly or maiming auto crashes. Again, there are numerous intersecting influences. But Needleman reports that this single comment cemented his resolve to help others explore what he calls a sacred possibility within them. And Mead confirms that when people are, quote, not encouraged or given a chance to awaken to the story seated in their souls, something greater than careers and potentials becomes wasted. Thus, a common flippant phrase of my friends and myself in our sometimes arboreal youth, I'm wasted, actually carries more destructive and sometimes tragic overtones. As does a different acute psychic disturbance resulting from modernism's abnormal condition of spiritual disunion. Because after concurring that one harmful way to cope, quote, is through addictions, which bring about facsimile experiences of self-transcendence followed by craving, cognitive neuroscientist Dusana Dorji also writes that another unhealthy way of satisfying the need for purpose and meaning is through seeking out experiences of dominance and power over others that provide a false sense of self-transcendence. Eminent sociologist Robert Bellah develops the disturbing implications by suggesting that if a culture cannot provide enough coherence in and about life to its people, an authoritarian state will likely try to do so. And boy, howdy, aren't we there now? Philosopher and social critic Eric Hoffer underlines this starkly. The feverish desire to band together and coalesce into marching masses is the expression of a desperate effort to escape this ineffectual, purposeless, individual existence. A purposelessness that a soul-starved culture engenders and that a soul focus helps allay, and with it the compensatory drive to dominate. Because as I'll describe further, from neighborhoods to nations, communities are apt to be more peaceable and positive when their residents also inhabit the rich native soil of their souls. Moreover, Since we don't come empty into this world, as we learn to recognize the shard of divinity that rode in with us, we also come to see and honor it in others. This allows greater understanding and acceptance, even appreciation of the quirks and preoccupations the diamond's call can force upon its host, including oneself, which are otherwise just inexplicably frustrating. Plus, due to its transcendent nature, Hillman notes that the diamond gives importance to each, not only to the important. An awareness that occasions respect and compassion for oneself and one another. So as we'll get into more on several levels, soul focus is an ethical game changer. None of which implies a flight from life's sometimes arduous demands and distressing actualities. Part of what poet John Keats called soul making is opening more expansively to the world's suffering as well as its beauty. And since the diamond makes its personal demands, attending to its appeals also brings personal tests and trials. Hence, amid the plentiful gratifications, there will often be muddles and miscues, headaches and heartbreaks, slip-ups and slippery slopes. Consequently, the later inclusion of a section on down-to-earth forgiveness is by design. Yet so is the old Greek word for happiness, eudaimonia, E-U-D-A-I-M-O-N-I-A, eudaimonia, with its affirmation that true joy and fulfillment flow from aligning our lives with the diamond's call. Because this call solicits us to esteem and engage the transrational more of our lives, not through one-size-fits-all belief, but via customized experience, such as that of Quincy Jones's. In the process, it beckons us from existential despair, whether manifest in implosive depressions and self-harm or explosive power ploys and violence, to an existence infused with significance. And it shines a beacon toward our destiny, which, if we keep faith with its illuminations, leads us to a soulful life, both gratifying and benevolent. All while simply letting the ultimate transrational capital M mystery be mystery. For as Hillman counsels, it seems wiser to attend to the call than to avoid it by searching for its source. Therefore, soul focus, S-O-U-L, is the soul, S-O-L-E, focus required to enjoy these salutary and, regarding assuaging spiritual starvation, salivatory effects. Mead commends this focus more specifically while echoing almost verbatim the questions that so enlivened Needleman's ravenous students. If the tablet of one's being already contains a core pattern and vital shape, then answers to life's burning, age-old questions, who am I, and for what purpose was I born, and what should I do with my life, can be found inside the one asking. In this momentous shift from outside-in salvation to inside-out soulvation, from saving one's soul to serving it, and thereby best serving both others and ourselves, soul focus achieves what Campbell terms the modern hero deed of questing to bring to light again the coordinated soul. It therefore contains a prodigious potency to heal and empower self and society. While further talks will expand on all this, I've already touched on the personal benefits a soul-focused understanding supplies. And the close of Mary Oliver's poem, The Summer Day, reminds us that we do not have forever to apply the resulting gifts. Doesn't everything die at last, and too soon? Tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? And even more than individually, the potential benefits are now communal. For as Plato saw, states are as the people are. They grow out of human characters. The more we awaken to the transcendent heart of our own being, the more our hearts spontaneously empathize with others, human and non, and want to see them flourish in every way. And as Mead stresses, in aggregate, this is culturally transformative. He writes, despite the growing confusions and distractions of the modern world, we are the current inheritors of the deep human longings for truth and beauty and the life-sustaining capacity to transform. Transformation at the level of the individual's soul generates the imagination and collective energy needed to change the conditions of the world. What we need is not a minor repair, but a major transformation that can only start from the inside. Soul Focus provides a lucid and inspiring map that furthers this win-win transformation. While traversing the terrain isn't always simple or easy, the rewards are sublime, and we are in good company. And as one adept companion and guide, Rumi, indicates, the route to take is clear. I have been a seeker and still am, but I stopped asking the books and the stars. I started listening to the teaching of my soul. This ends our introduction. More beginning on February 8th. Namaste and blessed be. As part of Unitarian Universalism's free church tradition, this congregation is self-supporting, and thus we remain free to govern ourselves. In addition to their annual sustaining contributions, each week our members and friends may choose to give an additional gift as witness that we are and shall remain a free faith. You can use cash or check, or the QR code or text info in the order of service. Please give generously. We are grateful for the gifts offered today and for all the gifts and blessings in our lives. And if you're visiting with us today, that's a gift in itself. We extend an especially warm welcome to you, and I'd be honored to meet you after the service if you'd care to do that, because you are our special guest. And we hope you'll stay for what's normally our second Sunday lunch, which this month is today. Thanks to everyone involved in making today's service possible. Because of time, we're going to skip our final hymn, and including that people include David Chen being here on guitar today. Thank you. Next Sunday, we have a wonderful guest speaker. Then February 1st is Reverend Kat's installation service, so be sure to come to that. And again, I'll resume my Soul Focus series on February 8th, and you can always check things on the website between now and then. Meanwhile, our chalice extinguishing words are by Elizabeth Sell Jones. They are in your order of service and on screen. Please say them together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. There's a lot happening after the service, but if you can remember to please join the brief ceremony out front to gratefully commemorate Energy Fred Zeiss's wisdom and vision and devotion to green energy and to UUCPA. Now, if you're online, please unmute yourself, turn on your video, and touch hands virtually. And in a moment, folks here, you can hold hands if you like, but I want to make clear that if you are uncomfortable holding hands, simply cross your hands over your heart to show that you are connected in the Spirit. So please rise in body or in spirit as we say our benediction together. Go out into the world in peace.